The Sixers have lost multiple assistants in the last week, but they finally make an addition. Today, we'll break down the new hire and talk about what it means for Nick Nurse and his plans moving forward.
Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. Like always, hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Be sure to subscribe and ring that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. Real quick, just want to let you guys know that this Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we will be doing a live show on the Bleacher Report app. If you've ever supported me, supported the show, or wanted to support what we are trying to do here, this is a great opportunity to do so. All you have to do is download the Bleacher Report app. Come on over Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing a live show talking about the Sixers' perfect offseason plan to get things right, a whole bunch more. So be sure to come on over and appreciate everybody always supporting. That being said, we are back today, and we need to talk about some Sixers assistants because they finally made a hire. Maybe you've been living under a rock the last week or two, and even the last couple days, and you might have missed this, but some of the main Sixers assistants are leaving the staff. Sam Cassell joining the Boston Celtics, the rivals under Joe Mazzulla. Maybe he thinks, he could have that job in a year or two. And then the reports that Dan Burke is expected to join Monty Williams and that new staff in Detroit. So two of the big assistants lost. Who knows what's going to happen with Dave Yeager or some of these other guys? We'll have to wait and see. It seems like Nick Nurse wants to bring his own staff in. And today the Sixers finally went ahead and brought somebody in. I want to know from you, do you like the fact that Nick Nurse is bringing in his own staff? Do you wish some of these guys had stayed here? What is your opinion on that? We will get to ours in just 1 second. But before we do so, shout out to the partner of today's video, Mint Mobile. Shout out to the partner of today's video, Mint Mobile. If you out there are similar to everyone else in the world who has thought to themselves at one point, why is my wireless bill so high? Then Mint Mobile is for you. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 per month, and you don't have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. They're built on the nation's largest 5G network and keep costs low because they sell directly to you online, cutting out the retail stores and salespeople. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to the same network? You can go and use that money to treat yourself to a Sixers game or even buy a new jersey. All Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot. They even offer super affordable family plans with as little as 2 lines. And switching to Mint is super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards. You can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your home. And if your phone isn't eSIM compatible, Mint will actually ship you a new SIM card free of charge. The whole process will only take about 15 minutes. And if you get stuck, Mint has a great customer service team to help you through it. So if you are interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to mintmobile.com/PhillyTake. You can go right down to the description of this video and click the link, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. All right, man, let's get into this. So the Sixers go out, and according to a league source, James Hom puts this here on Twitter. He says the Sixers are hiring Stockton Kings head coach Bobby Jackson, who will join Nick Nurse's staff in Philadelphia. Mark Stein on it first. Jackson is a 2-time former King that has worked on multiple coaching staffs in Sacramento over the last decade. Plus, he did an outstanding job in Stockton last season, leading the team to a league best 25-7 record. How about that, man? Even more on it here, actually. Shout out to our guy, Austin Krell. He says Bobby Jackson's Kings had the best winning percentage and point differential in the G League last year, despite finishing bottom 10 in three-point attempts and bottom 3 in free throw attempts. What does that tell you off the bat? This is a defensive assistant. Is this the Dan Burke replacement? Is it the Dan Burke replacement? Well, I took a little time to dive into some, articles, research about this guy, and apparently he is defensive-minded. Apparently he is there for player development, and you look at the course of his career, he played for about 11, 12 years as primarily a role player, different teams, mainly with the Kings for about 5 or 6 years, and he bounced around. And then in 2009, he retired. He was a 6th man of the year back in 2003. That was with the Sacramento Kings, and he stuck around with the Kings. In 2011, he was an assistant coach, and he was the assistant for 3 years. By the way, he coached with Dave Yeager, who is currently one of the Sixers assistants. You don't know really what's going to happen. He might end up leaving the staff. But I like Dave a lot. And honestly, if Dave Yeager decided to stay around with Nick Nurse, I would not be too mad about it. I know people are frustrated with Sam Cassell going to the Celtics. He was a big mentor for Tyrese Maxey. Oh, well, what are you going to do, right? Dan Burke, same thing. But Bobby Jackson, who you brought in here, is apparently a defensive-minded guy. And he has been coaching the Stockton Kings for a couple years. And, he led them to the best record in the G League last year by win percentage. So, this is what you have to do. Even a guy like Nick Nurse, right? He's won on multiple levels. He won in the G League. You have to kind of scout out and find some of these guys. And, if you're going to lose a Dan Burke, then maybe this is the guy, that you bring in. And he's been around, to a lot of different situations, a lot of different locker rooms, both as a player, both as a coach as well. And here's a picture of him, actually. Bobby Jackson, new assistant coach. Look at him. Look at him. He's ready to go off, man. I was actually just watching some NBA draft combine stuff a few weeks ago, and I think it was him. He was really, they had him mic'd up, and he was going in talking to some of these draft prospects. I just like the way, he was approaching, right? He seems like a very tough type of mentality guy, and I think he will work and mesh very well, with a Nick Nurse. So now the Sixers have their first assistant. It is Bobby Jackson. And what does this mean? Well, it kind of signals to me that Nick Nurse is going with his own staff. The Sixers losing all their assistants, clearing house. Now, again, this is perfectly normal. This is what happens when new coaches come in. They usually bring their guys. And maybe Bobby Jackson hasn't coached with a Nick Nurse before. But again, he's won on a different level. And, Nick Nurse is probably scouting out, trying to find some guys. The Raptors just, signed the Grizzlies assistant coach, right? So guys come over from different staffs. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. But Kyle Neubeck put out an article. Shout out to our guy, Kyle. He's always on top of it. And I just want to read a couple things from this article that I think will stand out to you and I think, are very important. So this is actually a fun fact here in the article on Philly Voice from Kyle Neubeck. And he says that Jackson would go on to work under Keith Smart, Dave Yeager, and Luke Walton. So again, he's been under multiple head coaching regimes, and he's been with the Kings both as a player and as a coach. And then it says down here, Jackson's most notable coaching experience to date actually came at a lower level, serving as the head coach of the Kings G League affiliate. Under his leadership, Sacramento's had a fair bit of success in recent years. The Kings were the champions of the Vegas Summer League in 21, with Jackson leading a hard-charging defense spearheaded by Davion Mitchell in an environment that does not often feature much defense. Jackson's Kings had a G League leading 25-7 record in 2022-23, earning an opening round bye for the Developmental League's playoffs. Nurse and the Sixers are bringing Jackson in to aid with the player development side. I repeat, player development. For some reason, there's this whole thing going on surrounding Nick Nurse. They're saying, he got fired because he didn't develop players. First off, did he have a lot to work with? I mean, really, it almost seems like he had Masai Ujiri's prototype guys. That's all he had to really work with. And I said it, when Nurse got hired. Since Kawhi left, he hasn't really had a star to work with. And I think some of these guys did develop under Nick Nurse. I don't know what they're talking about out there, right? The Scotty Barnes, the Siakams, the Fred VanVleets. Look at the contracts they got. Look at what they got after they won that championship. I can't say that Nick Nurse hasn't helped develop anybody. I know the Raptors always have good assistants. I know they've probably helped and aided in that process, but, Nick Nurse was the assistant for a long time. So, he's definitely had an opportunity to kind of dabble in different areas, both as a coach and an assistant coach. And I'm really fired up for what he's going to bring to the table with Philadelphia. Jackson, though, already has familiarity with some of the players in the pipeline, having coached Sixers two-way player Louis King during his time in charge of the Stockton Kings. More development-focused hires sound like they could be in the pipeline for Nurse and the Sixers, as Stein also reported on Sunday that Raptors coach Rico Hines could rejoin Nurse on his new staff in Philadelphia. Man, could you imagine if the Sixers swing Rico Hines, always known as a very high developmental type of, both athlete and coach and trainer, whatever else you want to say. Everybody knows the infamous, Rico Hines videos from last year, right? We were analyzing them. Scotty Barnes and James Harden in the Rico Hines runs, the private, workouts where these NBA players are invited. They scrimmage each other. Remember all those videos that we analyzed and looked at last offseason? Those were the Rico Hines runs. And the reason there were so many Raptors there is because, well, they're ran by Rico Hines, who was a Raptors assistant. And if Nick Nurse could swing him over to Philadelphia, I think that would be huge. You have Nick Nurse, Bobby Jackson as the defensive guy, and then Rico Hines added on to that. I think that is a great start. Obviously, it hurts that the Sixers lost some of their high-level assistants, but it is what it is. You have to go out and get more in here. I kind of like, the fresh, clean slate a little bit. We'll see if Dave Yeager stays on the staff. He's really the only one at this point that we don't know which way it's going. Could the Sixers also go out and hire another guy? Maybe a Mike D'Antoni. I know everybody wants the Sixers to hire him as an offensive assistant to try to lure Harden back and, to help the development of Tyrese Maxey offensively, just in terms of an offensive mind. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but those are just all my thoughts. I think the staff is being built. It's nice to see something finally be put into motion here. Give me all your thoughts, though, down below in the comment section on this coaching staff. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.